Hi, my name is Martha Chadwick-Correa, and today I'm going to teach you how to make a baked stuffed lobster in your very own home. First thing you want to do is you're going to kill the lobster, and for those of you who have a weak stomach, you might want to look away. I usually just take a very sharp knife, I stab it right into the brain, and then cut down the center of the lobster. Don't worry, he doesn't feel anything anymore. And it's well worth it, trust me. Next thing I'm going to do is I cut the claws off because I'm going to steam these and actually put them in the cavity of the lobster. It's like an extra surprise for everyone when they get after they've eaten the stuffing. Okay, and you want to make sure you steam these for 10 minutes on high so they get nice until the claws are nice and red. The next step you want to take is you want to make sure that you really separate the lobsters and break down all the joints. Because if you don't, what will happen is the lobster will curl up and all the stuffing will fall out while it's cooking. Because the lobster meat in here will cook as well. So I'm going to break the lobster down. I'll break all these joints. Okay. Now this is a tamale. Some people like that. Some people don't. If you don't, remove it. And the eggs. I would suggest removing the eggs because it can get a little bit messy. So I just take a little fork, kind of pull them out. And now I'm going to place them on the pan and make the stuffing. I take about a half a pound of cut sea scallops. I usually quarter them or cut them in fives. And because the sea scallops are the only raw ingredient that I put in here, I like to coat these with breadcrumbs because they're a little bit wet and then they tend to, if you don't, they tend to stick together. So I put about a half a cup of breadcrumbs and kind of just swirl it around, make sure they get all dusty so they don't stick together. And then I'll add about half a pound of cooked cocktail shrimp, about the smallest, medium size, I guess you call them. You can actually buy them in your grocery store. One good thing about this recipe is you can actually buy most of the ingredients frozen, pre-cooked in your grocery store. I'll add 16 ounces of lump crab meat that I shredded. And then for an extra treat, I usually buy about 3 lobster tails and cut them up and add those to the stuffing as well. I find it to be a little bit more decadent if you've got actual lobster meat in your stuffing. And then 2 sleeves of Ritz crackers, crushed. About a cup of Parmesan cheese, shredded, grated Parmesan cheese. You can either use the dry, canned, or you can do it fresh. It's up to you. The rest of the breadcrumbs. Then at this point, I try to toss the ingredients just to get them mixed a little bit before you add the liquid. Now this makes enough stuffing to stuff at least 4 2-pound lobsters or 6 1.5-pound size lobsters. And you will have stuffing left over, which is really good to have on hand because it freezes beautifully, and you can always have a quick baked stuffed shrimp or a quick stuffed and turf because you've already got your stuffing ready. So now the dry ingredients are mixed, and now add liquid. I add about 2 sticks of melted butter. This is actually 2.5 sticks because I save it because before I put the lobsters in the oven, I actually brush them with melted butter. The juice of 1 lemon. And then between 3/4 to a cup of whatever sweet wine I have in the house. Mostly I use sherry. Sometimes I've used Marsala wine, other times Madeira, and it all comes out great. Okay. Now it's time to get down and dirty and toss the dressing. Okay, see it's coming together. Okay, so now it's time to stuff our lobsters. I've cracked my lobster claws, as you can see, and I've placed them in each of the lobster cavity. I also reserved the juice that came out of the lobster and added that to the stuffing. It gives it a little bit more seafood flavor and keeps it nice and moist. Okay, I take about a cup to a cup and a half of the lobster stuffing and place it loosely over the lobster. You don't want to overstuff it because then your meat inside the lobster that's raw won't get cooked. I probably make this about 4 or 5 times a year. If a friend asks for me to make it for their birthday, I'll make it. Or if my sister's been really nice to me, I'll make it for her. And then next I'm going to brush the lobsters with some melted butter, because more butter is always better. I need to add a little more stuffing to this guy over here. There you go. Okay. And then next, I'm going to pour just about a half a cup of white wine, whatever I have open usually, into the bottom of the pan, just to give it a little bit liquid to be evaporated while the lobsters are cooking. Another little flavor to add. I just kind of drizzle it to the base of the pan. And now they're ready for the oven, to go in the oven. I'll cook them at 400 degrees for about a half hour. Midway through, I'll check and I'll baste them with the pan juices, and then you're good to go. And here are my lobsters a half hour later, all ready to eat. I hope you try my recipe. And like I said, you'll always have leftover stuffing. It freezes beautifully, and it makes quick baked stuffed shrimp or a quick surf and turf. Enjoy.